Hey, by golly.
Very good.
Let's see what we've got going here.
Sounds good. And there is a recliner there if you want to put your feet
This
up.
is good.
Okay.
This is so exciting to spend some time with you.
And for me as well.
You
Thank you.
Because I do have an interest in hypnosis.
Actually doing hypnosis or receiving hypnosis?
Both.
Okay.
I took quite an extensive class in it myself.
Oh.
Never did anything with it.
Where did you take that class?
Jack.
Jack Elias. Oh, he's an excellent teacher.
He's excellent. It was a fascinating experience because it wasn't just hypnosis. He wraps all of his Buddhist information in with the hypnosis and talks about all the different levels of consciousness. So very interesting course to take.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So you've met him and.
Yes, Jack, I've known Jack for years. There's actually quite a few hypnotherapists in the greater Seattle area,
right.
And we actually are a really supportive community, and Jack is one of the great teachers in the area.
Yeah. It was fascinating. And who knows, I might still do something with it.
Very good.
But when I looked at your website, and of course I forgot to bring notes with me, so this will be off the top of my head. I noticed you do several different things that people might like to know about. One is you do group coaching down at Harbor Square.
I do a group hypnosis session. It's about an hour in length, sometimes runs a little bit longer. It's focused on motivation to make healthful choices, but that can run the gamut from weight management, exercising more, sleeping better, healthful food choices, that sort of thing.
So is it always the same, or does it change depending on the group that shows up?
Yes. What happens is whomever is there, I actually go around the room and they can tell me what they want motivation to receive, what they want to receive motivation for, and so then I just customize it based on whoever shows up.
And do people come ongoing, or do they just come once? Or
Both.
Both.
Yeah. So a number of people will be there every month that they can be there. They'll be there, and that's just fine. And some people will just try it once and then maybe schedule a private session. Quite often they want to test it in a group session.
It's
and
kind
then
of a safe place to test it, isn't it?
It really is,
right.
yeah.
So let me see, that was one thing that caught my eye. What was the other ones? I also noticed, this will jump all over the place, but you also have CDs that you make. MP3 and CD combos.
Right.
MP3s are nice because you can put them on your cell phone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there was about 3 different ones?
Right now I have 3, weight management, relaxation, and learning to use self-hypnosis, and then the last one is sleeping, so to help people fall asleep. I have a plan to make a couple more pain management, and then perhaps something more on the relaxation, but maybe getting into a meditative state, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So that was one thing I wanted to point out for people looking at this, because I'm going to have a link to your website so they can go there.
Oh, great.
And access, this.
And I'll be posting more all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And the other one that you did that was interesting, you have a stress management group or something. What's that one again? I forgot.
Well, I can provide group sessions on a number of topics. Weight management, I have an ongoing group that anybody's welcome to join. I shouldn't say weight management, it's healthful choices, although it often, at least 50% of the people in the room are interested in weight management.
Okay.
But I've also done them for stress. Stress is such an issue, yet people think it's normal, and so it isn't popular. And so although it really is something I'd like to focus on, and I usually will include some type of stress management technique or in the session to help people, it's an option to have a group class with stress reduction, but weight management tends to be the more popular. Yeah. I've also done...
the weight management combined with a topic of stress?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because certainly often with weight management issues, stress may be one of the reasons that someone's having difficulties losing weight. But with this stress management group, it was merely focusing on stress, the stressors in people's lives, and then teaching people some techniques that they could use as well as receiving a group hypnosis. That
brings up another interesting thing. I saw, and I did a little reading, it was a link on your website again, so people can go get this link. Let me see, but in the blink of an eye is the magazine, and then the article was, I forget the topic. Let me think if I can get the topic. But anyway, the theme of it that I thought was interesting is that in their research, they found that you could train people to enhance their ability in hypnosis through training them to, I guess, be more receptive to hypnosis. But there were things you could do to teach a person techniques to be hypnotized better. Did you remember that article? I mean, it's on your website, and I went reading, and I went reading on, it was a large magazine, but it had many articles, but this was called In a Blink of an Eye. It was the magazine.
Sure.
And then there was the research article, and I forget the topic, but it's in there.
Yeah.
And so I'll have a link there for people to read that.
Oh, good. Well, just experiencing hypnosis, each time you experience it, it becomes easier and easier to go into a hypnotic trance and to go deeper into a hypnotic trance. And depending on what someone wants, certainly with pain management, teaching them to quickly go into a state of hypnosis so that they can manage their own pain. Someone who's perhaps in a chronic pain situation, burn victim or arthritis, things like that. So certainly it is, I really like to teach all of my clients how to practice self-hypnosis for relaxation, for dealing with the ups and downs of life, to get back to sleep. So I don't specifically remember that article.
Right. But there was something about that I thought was a little different, and that brings up another thought. And that is, I saw where you did a couple things that I thought was unique. That within your hypnosis sessions, you'd use two things that I hadn't thought of. You'd use EFT and you used NLP. And I wonder if you could just highlight how or why you do that in hypnosis. Because I thought it was fascinating.
Right. The emotional freedom technique, EFT, can be used for anything. There's a movie out there that says tap on everything. Tapping is another term people will, rather than saying EFT or the emotional freedom technique, they'll call it tapping. It is a way to get held negative energy, beliefs, feelings to move within your system and to be released. And I have found it to be very powerful. When someone is in a highly charged emotional state, perhaps on the edge of tears, maybe they are crying, we've really identified something that's going on. And we can work with that and use the tapping technique to get that to, I don't want to say dissolve, but basically by tapping on various acupressure points while saying what it is that's bothering us, we can get that to dissipate.
And are you doing that while they're in a hypnosis state?
No.
Okay, that's what I...
Well, I should, okay, so the traditional hypnosis, no. Yep. But once somebody just simply starts thinking about whatever this is that's bothering them, they themselves go into a state which is hypnosis. Do they know they're in a state of hypnosis? No. There's nothing that I've done, it's actually them thinking about whatever it is. Okay. I might be leading them to be telling me about it. How upsetting is it to you? And those things will put them into a hypnotic state. But I actually have my clients tap on themselves so that when they leave here, they leave with instructions on how to use the emotional freedom technique, and they can use it on their own for whatever comes up in their life that it might be appropriate for.
And NLP, the same way, it's not while they're in hypnosis, but...
Well, NLP can be used in hypnosis and also just in a conversation.
Okay.
So
I love that, but tell a little bit about what in the world that is, because it is so fascinating.
Neurolinguistic programming is really interesting, and a number of people use it besides just hypnotherapists. And so in conversation, a psychologist might be using it with their client just to have us look at something from a different angle. And for hypnosis, we have the benefit of actually having people close their eyes, imagine things, perhaps imagine them then differently, changing it up somewhat, which can help create the changes that people have come to see a hypnotherapist for.
It's fascinating how the mind plays along and agrees with you to accomplish the goal you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that brings up a really good point. Some people have a fear that a hypnotherapist is going to take control of their mind, have them do something they don't want to do, quack like a duck, what have you. It truly, the client is always in charge, and they will never do something they don't want to do. So if somebody calls me and asks about a smoking cessation session, which for most of those I do use the tapping technique, in addition to more traditional hypnosis. I combine both because I found that I've had great success with that. Usually clients quit in one session.
I did.
And isn't that amazing?
I mean, I can't believe it.
Yes.
My wife sent me and my friend and his wife, they shoot us out the door. They signed us up for a class down, I don't know if they still do it. In the evenings, they have these Seattle class things you can go to.
How long ago was it?
Oh, must have been 25 years ago.
It was probably Katie Evans, who's a wonderful hypnotherapist who I've worked with, and she was doing it at that time. Yeah.
And I mean, I thought of her as a little housewife coming in to teach the class. I had no idea she was actually a hypnotherapist. Mm-hmm. And we kind of laughed. We said, this isn't work. This is a bunch of hooey.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and she's chatting. And oh, shut your eyes now, relax now, open your eyes now, shut your eyes, and blah blah. And we said, this is a bunch of hooey. Walked out of there, never smoked another cigarette.
Isn't that wonderful?
But isn't that blow your mind?
Number one thing you can do to improve your health is to quit smoking. So that's just a fabulous.
I just thought there was a kick, and both of us quit.
Yeah.
And we didn't want one. We had no withdrawal symptoms. Nothing.
I know. It's just it's amazing, and I hear that time and time again. But what I will do if somebody calls me about having a smoking cessation session is I'll make sure they want to quit. Right. Because that's the key. I can only help someone with what they want to change. Now, it would be very normal to have a part of them love cigarettes, love the whole kind of rebel, the inner rebel, being able to smoke, but that the majority of them wants to quit. That's all I need to hear. Then we can work together. But if somebody's coming to see me because their wife has threatened to leave them if they don't quit, they don't really want to, I'll suggest get a patch, do something else. When you're ready, when you want to quit, come see me, and it'll probably be one session.
Now, it brings up another thought. Do you think that there's a difference between something like quitting smoking, where it's not prerequisite for survival,
right,
as opposed to eating?
Absolutely,
and that there's a real different success ratio, or how can you talk on that?
That's a great question. Where I mentioned that smoking cessation is often just one session, weight management is rarely one session. Right. Now, if somebody, something's changed in their life and they've gained 10 or 15 pounds, that can be one session.
40 maybe.
But with, most people that come to see me, they've been on a number of diets, they've been overweight for many years, and that generally, I say between 4 to 10 sessions, probably around 6 sessions. You're right, you have to continue to eat. How do you negotiate life? How do you negotiate going to a potluck or going on vacation? And so there's a number of things that we work through. In addition to what are the emotional reasons that we eat.
Sure.
And so it's not, normally it's not one session for weight management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts that come up with you when you're thinking about somebody considering hypnosis? Is there any other issues that are worth talking about?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the fear. One, they're thinking, the hypnotist is perhaps weird, perhaps has their own agenda, and that's why I really want to stress the point that the client is always in control. They can always simply open their eyes. And as I mentioned, I know most of the hypnotherapists in the area, and this is a real ethical group of people who genuinely want to help other people. So for myself, in addition to the private sessions that I offer for a whole range of topics, and the group sessions that I do, I also do work with Providence Hospice.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Yeah, there was a couple things there.
Yeah.
Providence
Hospice of Seattle. And so I'll actually go on site to wherever the hospice patient is, and we will do hypnosis for whatever the patient would like.
And there was another one.
There's another one. I do grief work at Swedish Edmonds. So I lead a Journey of Grief group. It's a 6-week class, happens 3-4 times a year. But Swedish Edmonds has a number of different groups in their bereavement department. It's all free to the community, and you can just call Swedish Edmonds, and the woman who runs the program, Kathy Alvin, will talk with whomever calls, and she'll find the right group for them.
Yeah. There was another one. There was an Ayurvedic something or other.
Oh, right. I need to change my website. Yeah.
Oh, that's not there anymore?
I'm still working with them, but that actually, the Ayurvedic clinic where they were seeing clients, that's closed.
Okay.
They're still providing training locally, and
Okay.
With that group I've moved to a different office. So I see clients predominantly privately in my Edmonds home office, but I can also see them in the Seattle area as well at this clinic. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm trying to think if there wasn't something else there.
You did really well with no notes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I'm not sitting here with a piece of paper in my hand. But I did do a little intro for you also.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll package it up and you can
Okay.
take a look. Hopefully this turns out as fun as it's been sitting here talking to you.
Yeah. No, I'm really impressed. Got your camera on the tripod, and it's great. Yeah.
So I was just trying to think if there's anything else. I
Just
can.
thinking of my
Yeah,
notes. I think you. Oh, I know. There's one more thing.
Okay.
And I hope they have this on my website, although I might not. I had started teaching classes at Bastyr. So Bastyr University here in the Kenmore, Washington area has a number of hypnotherapy classes. So anybody who's interested in becoming a hypnotherapist.
That's what I was going to say. You had classes for people wanting to be hypnotists.
Well, actually the class that I teach,
Right.
Mary Lee LeBay teaches the classes to become certified as a hypnotherapist. But once someone is a hypnotherapist, then I have a class that will help them work with clients who want to lose weight, or if they want to learn how to work with groups.
Oh, okay. I might have read that wrong on your website. And I thought it was about wanting to become a hypnotherapist.
Yeah. That is offered at Bastyr, but I don't teach those classes.
Right. That's the way I read your website. Okay.
I'll check that out. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I could do that.
I probably read it wrong. Yeah. So could have had a pause here, and I can split some things. So,
sure.
But there's another area there's some other fascinating areas of hypnosis that intrigue me.
Mm-hmm.
One is that there's the opportunity to have some rather deep spiritual awakenings with hypnosis.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if that's ever talked about too much.
Well, it's interesting. Someone might come to see a hypnotherapist specifically for that, but sometimes just spontaneously in a session, someone may go someplace that we might consider life between lives, and they might be talking to maybe someone who I don't put words in their mouth. I ask people to actually tell me what they're experiencing as best they can, and they may perceive these people as angels that they're negotiating with to decide to go into their next life. Some people have spontaneously gone back to where they believe it's a past life. I also do past life regressions with people who specifically want that, but it can happen spontaneously.
Yeah, I was thinking of a couple sessions that we worked on in a class where you journeyed. Yeah, I mean, it's this wonderful way of leading the mind into a receptive place, of walking down a hillside, and there's a nice blanket. The sun is shining on that nice red blanket, and you want to sit down and get comfortable. And looking into the forest, you see an animal coming out, and he's coming to lead you to your higher self. So you get up and you start following this little animal, you're taking a good look at what this animal looks like, and then you're walking into the forest until you see this something that you want to meet. And then you check out this person by seeing if there's a light that comes from them that is harmonious with you or not. So you identify this as a friend or foe. And so you have this active, vivid experience of interacting with your inner consciousness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so whatever it is, past life, future life, whatever, it is your own wonderful, creative, internal session, accessing a part of your brain that you would not think of hooking up with, and all the benefits that could,
Absolutely.
It's very fascinating.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderfully fascinating.
Yes. Yeah. One of the differences between Jekyll-Elias's set, because that's a Jekyll-Elias.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have seen it in other contexts as well.
And what I'm thinking of is following a script. I might set stage, but then I'll ask my client, and then what do you notice? Oh, let's go investigate that. Let's go. And so I unless there is a specific, they're saying, I want to find my totem animal,
Yeah.
I want to connect with my spirit guide.
Right.
You know, I don't use those words. I kind of let the client lead the session in that
Okay.
way.
Okay.
Even though they'll be in hypnosis and I will be guiding them, what comes up will come from the subconscious mind. And I found that to be very rich and very meaningful in ways that I can't provide the words around it, because everybody has their own experiences and
Right.
things mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
So that though you did a great job with that.
There was one thing that absolutely blew my mind, which it does talk about the way the mind works, which I thought was fascinating, and that was to have an instantaneous
Induction?
induction.
Yeah.
I mean, instantaneous induction. And you know, you don't think that that's possible, but it apparently is all based around a certain construct of the mind which can't do two things at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting somebody very involved with one thing and you shift their consciousness very quickly, they can go
They can,
instantly
absolutely.
into a state of not just a slight trance, but a deep trance.
Right.
And I found
Right.
that just because Jack did that to me, I know exactly what
But
that's
it actually works, absolutely.
like. Very deep.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, and it's interesting, we can spend a lot of time creating, inducting someone
Right.
into hypnosis, but rarely do I do that. I would do that with, say, a hospice patient who's in a lot of pain, who perhaps would like hypnotherapy for peace, you know, for inner peace, for
Right.
quiet, for calm, where I would be guiding it and I often with a hospice patient will say before we begin, do you want me to count you out, or would you like to stay in a relaxed state and maybe drift off to sleep afterwards? So I handle things differently. But with a client who comes to see me privately, there's usually something going on, and once they get talking about that may be the induction. I may just say, you know, we get to a heightened emotional area, I may just say, go ahead and take a deep breath, close your eyes, tell me what's going on. And I won't even do an induction. The client actually, by experiencing whatever it is that's bothering them.
They're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the instant inductions are very fun. Yeah, I don't touch my clients, and I know a lot of those, there's head rocking and things. Yeah,
that did require that.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating.
It is very fascinating. Yeah, absolutely.
Fascinating because of the way the mind works,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that if it has these multiple things to deal with at the same time, it decides just to shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a way of coping.